Tonight, the Middle East stands on the brink of a war unlike any before. The region, long marked by tension and uncertainty, now faces a moment that could reshape its future for generations. The world holds its breath as the threat of conflict looms larger than ever. In cities from Tel Aviv to Tehran, families huddle in fear as sirens wail and jets roar overhead. The sound of distant explosions and the glare of emergency lights have become a nightly reality, forcing ordinary people to confront unimaginable danger. This is not another chapter in a long conflict, it's a crisis threatening to engulf the entire region. Streets that once bustled with life now stand deserted, as uncertainty and anxiety grip millions. The world watches, leaders scramble, but the drums of war drown out calls for peace. Diplomats rush to broker ceasefires while citizens take to the streets demanding an end to the violence, their voices often lost amid the chaos. What began as an Israeli operation has now drawn in the United States, turning a regional dispute into a global flashpoint. The arrival of foreign forces signals a dangerous escalation, raising fears of a much wider conflict. For millions, the stakes are terrifyingly real, rushing to shelters, searching for loved ones, and struggling for basic necessities. Humanitarian organizations race to deliver aid, but the needs grow by the hour as the crisis deepens. Years of rising tensions and proxy wars have led to this moment. The scars of past conflicts are visible everywhere, fueling anger and despair among those caught in the crossfire. The October 2023 Hamas attack, wars with Iran's proxies, and direct missile exchanges have paved the way to this new reality. Each new strike deepens the wounds, making peace seem ever more distant. With Operation Rising Lion and America's intervention, the world wonders, can diplomacy pull the region back from the edge, or is a wider war now inevitable? The next days will shape not just the Middle East, but the fate of global stability itself. On June 14, 2025, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, its largest air campaign ever, targeting Iran's nuclear and military infrastructure. Israeli jets struck deep inside Iran, hitting Natanz, Fordow, Isfahan, and Arak, aiming to cripple Iran's nuclear ambitions and the IRGC's command. Senior Quds Force commanders were killed, and missile, drone, and energy sites were devastated. Israel called it a necessary act of self-defense, seeking to set back Iran's nuclear program and weaken its proxies. The collapse of Assad's regime in Syria was hailed as a strategic victory. Iran, defiant but wounded, launched over 1,000 missiles and drones at Israel, most intercepted, but some causing casualties and terror. Now Iran faces a choice: escalate further or regroup from a weakened position. The conflict escalated dramatically on June 21, 2025, as the United States, under the command of President Trump, launched a series of direct and highly coordinated strikes on Iran's nuclear sites. The world watched in real time as tensions that had been simmering for months finally erupted into open confrontation. Using the formidable GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators, B-2 stealth bombers targeted the heavily fortified Fordow facility, a site believed to be at the heart of Iran's nuclear ambitions. The precision and power of these weapons sent a clear message about American capabilities. Simultaneously, Tomahawk cruise missiles were launched from U.S. naval vessels, striking key infrastructure at Natanz and Isfahan. These strikes aimed to cripple Iran's nuclear program and demonstrate overwhelming force. President Trump declared the mission a total success, warning Iran in no uncertain terms against any form of retaliation. The administration emphasized that the operation was carefully planned to avoid civilian casualties. Behind the scenes, the U.S. sent a message through diplomatic and military channels. This was a limited, targeted strike. If Iran chose restraint, America would not escalate further, but any aggression would be met with overwhelming response. Nearly 40,000 U.S. troops and advanced missile defense systems rapidly deployed across the region, reinforcing bases and allies. The show of force was meant to deter further conflict and reassure partners of U.S. commitment. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth described the buildup as a purely defensive posture designed to protect U.S. interests, allies, and regional stability in the face of uncertainty. Across Iran, anxiety and uncertainty gripped the population. The world now waits. Will Iran escalate, or will it step back from the brink and choose a different path? The stakes have never been higher, and every decision from this point forward could shape the Middle East for decades to come. The crisis has entered a new, unpredictable phase, with the world holding its breath for what comes next. Beneath the headlines, ordinary people in Iran and Israel endure unimaginable suffering. In Iran, relentless airstrikes have killed hundreds and injured thousands, overwhelming hospitals and forcing tens of thousands to flee. A near-total internet blackout deepens the isolation, cutting families off from the world. In Israel, missile barrages have killed dozens and injured over 1,000, with sirens sending families scrambling for shelter. The psychological toll is immense. Life is lived in constant fear. Doctors, firefighters, and parents struggle to cope as explosions echo around them. For millions, the crisis is not about strategy or politics, it's about survival and hope for peace. Their suffering is the true cost of this conflict. The world must not forget their stories. This crisis is the violent climax of a fuse lit nearly 2 years ago. It began with Hamas's brutal October 2023 attack on Israel, triggering a sweeping Israeli campaign against Iranian proxies across the region. Israel struck Hezbollah, the Houthis, and Iranian assets in Syria, pushing the conflict into the open. In April 2024, Iran launched a direct missile and drone attack on Israel, a historic escalation. This transformed a shadow war into open confrontation, making a major Israeli response inevitable. Operation Rising Lion on June 14, 2025 was that response, followed by U.S. airstrikes a week later. Each step marked a dangerous escalation, drawing in global powers. The region now stands at the edge of a wider war. The combined Israeli and American strikes have shattered the old Middle East order, leaving a power vacuum and deep uncertainty. Cities lie in ruins, and the echoes of explosions still haunt the streets. The region's fragile balance has been upended, and the world watches as a new reality takes shape. Iran's influence is in tatters, its proxies weakened, its grip on Syria broken, and only the Houthis remain a threat. The once formidable network of Iranian-backed militias is now fractured, and Tehran's leaders face mounting pressure at home and abroad. Regional powers like Saudi Arabia and Turkey see new opportunities to expand their influence, while Gulf states quietly welcome Iran's setback. Behind closed doors, new strategies are being drawn up and old rivalries are being reconsidered. New alliances and rivalries are emerging, reshaping the region's future. Diplomatic channels are buzzing, and the map of the Middle East may soon look very different as leaders jockey for position. Globally, U.S. allies are quietly satisfied, seeing a strategic advantage, while Russia and China denounce the attacks and may seek to support Iran. The great powers are recalibrating their approaches, each looking to protect their interests in this volatile landscape. The UN calls for de-escalation, but its voice is lost amid the chaos. International appeals for peace struggle to be heard as the world's attention is fixed on the next move. As the dust settles, key questions remain. Will Iran escalate or retrench? Will its leaders seek revenge, or will they turn inward to rebuild and regroup? Who will fill the power vacuum left behind? Ambitious leaders and factions are already maneuvering, each hoping to shape the new order to their advantage. The next moves in Washington, Jerusalem, and Tehran will define the region's fate. Every decision made in these capitals will ripple across borders, affecting millions. The world holds its breath, waiting for answers. Uncertainty grips global markets and ordinary people alike, as everyone wonders what tomorrow will bring. The dawn of a new, volatile Middle East has arrived. The choices made now will echo for generations, shaping the destiny of the region and the world.